Oh, thanks. Welcome to December Day. I can't believe we're here in the 12th month of the year, but yet we are. So that means that it's of course some very important holidays to mark this month, and of course Citizens Day, that means it's Play Basketball Day. I don't know if any of you are planning to celebrate that or not. It's also National Skip School Day.
All right.
Please don't tell my kids.
Oh, that's not,
Not Skip Rotary Day, there's no such thing. And it's also International Sweater Festival, which, so if any of you had a sweater vest, then Howard and I are well addressed with the occasion. And and also Hank, yes, you knew all about the holiday. And it's also Bartender Appreciation Day. So you can feel fully welcome to go appreciate your favorite bartender. And of course, it's also going to be the long anticipated return of our Rotary Joke Duel. So, but before we start, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. And of course, as Rotarians, we try our best to live by a four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it true? Is it faithful? And I'd like to invite up now David Smith to give our inspirational message.
I will be glad to pay $1. I'm going to be reading from my new book. Following your footsteps. No. So what I want to share with you today, I want to take a minute. Begins with something I want you to learn. So I'm going to have you repeat it after me. Hey tangata, hey tangata, hey tangata. Hey tangata, hey tangata, hey tangata. One more time. Hey tangata, hey tangata, hey tangata. Most of you know that I went through a little transition in 2022, where I graduated from my other career and began a new. And pretty excited about that. But in that transition, it was given to me to examine some of what I had left behind, and which is not an uncommon thing for any of us. What was important, what mattered, what lasted, where were the lessons? And the answer came to me from a young woman who had just finished hiking the long trail along the Pacific coast. And she quoted the Maori proverb, which asked the question, what is the most important thing in the world? And the answer came back, he tangata, he tangata, he tangata. It is the people, it is the people, it is the people. And from that, I'll read you the last little bit of this essay. The people are the driving lessons. What do you bring from the road, from the mountain, from the run, from the experience where you were closest to your absolute self? How do you carry with you the experience of your work, your passions, your adventures? I don't know all the answers, but I feel the one that matters is this. Whatever else influenced you in those important moments, it was the people who brought you the real lesson, and it is the people you share that with in the days ahead. It is the people you mentored. It is the people who cared for you. It is the people who shared a space big enough for both of you to grow. It is the people who demonstrated compassion or taught you friendship. It is the people who guided you as a parent. It is those you love and those you only passed on the trail. It is the people you will have coffee with today and those who wait for us on the other side. It is the people. This morning, the voice gave shape to the answer, so powerful it brought me to tears. It is the people. What is so exciting for me in this is that whatever life brings me next, I know that in those days of beauty and adventure, there will be the people who will be the most important. My world will never be diminished, no matter how I throw the hours, as long as I seek them out.
Thank you so much, David. And Rotary, please enjoy your lunch. folks on Zoom, I'll leave the breakout room and everybody.
All right, I'm also going to make Joe a host since he'll be kind of helping with that, so.
Right.
He's got the ring and he's everything working, so break out.
She made me.
Hi, Elizabeth, I couldn't hear you. Do you want me to do the breakout rooms?
I may have relinquished control. Now I can't.
The audio is really challenged right now, Liz.
So are you able to do the breakout room?
Yeah, I can do it. I couldn't hear you if you wanted me to, or if you were doing it. So yeah, I absolutely can do it. So.
Okay, that's much clearer now. Liz, have you been able to make that announcement about the next week's program?
I gotta log into this.
I did. I just.
No, I've got to. I would talk.
Okay. Okay, good.
When you're leaving.
That's what, like.
Okay, I was just using this. The offsite. Wait,
Every year we have story remind now together because we feel like
Can we go right back?
No, we're in the main room now.
Okay.
I don't know where everybody else is at, but. I'm gonna go grab a drink of water here.
Ready? I think I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll be right back.
Thanks, Joe. I think I ended up, making you host and relinquishing control of mine. So thanks for managing the breakup.
All right. Joe, if I could ask you to make me a host again so I can share my screen.
Oops. Host or co-host?
Okay, so it's saying host disabled participant screen sharing. So for whatever reason, it's not letting Rotary be a host. There it goes. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Rotarian, yes, and table links there. Wanted to be able to share a couple of brief announcements for you before we head on to a Paul Harris fellow presentation as well as the joke duel and other announcements. So with that, just wanted to offer a reminder that we are going to be off site for the next 2 weeks, actually. So next Friday, we're going to be at the Economic Forum at U of M Flint North Bank Center. I'll remind you again at the end of the meeting about the details with that. And also then on December the 16th, we're going to have our offsite meeting for our annual holiday program. We'll be featuring the Master Singers again. But we're going to be at Mott College's Regional Technology Center that day. So room 1301. That's right, all the Mott families. And we'll have lunch catered by the local grocers. So thanks for folks who offered those suggestions at a previous meeting. So we'll have some tasty food, we'll have some good music, and of course a lot of fun. So hope to see you at both of those next couple of offsite meetings. And then I don't know who saw their email message last night. All right, earlier this morning perhaps. So yeah, so what was the key information in this message? Money, okay. Sign up, hockey, Luigi, all the critical things, yes. So thank you so much to Fred Hines for the legwork that he has done to make this possible. One of the things, if you'll recall, we wanted to do this year in implementing our strategic plan was to do more social stuff beyond our Friday meetings, just so that we can enjoy each other and also potentially Rotarians from beyond our own club. So we have invited Rotary clubs from throughout the Flint area, as well as every place near Sarnia. So hopefully others in the district as well will be able to join us on December 16th. Game time is at 7 p.m. It's going to be right here at Flint at the Jordan Event Center. But Fred has made some special arrangements because he has apparently a little bit of pull as a dedicated season ticket holder and fan extraordinaire. So that they've made it available that if folks want to gather for some conversation and socializing beforehand, the Firebirds will give us the Blue Line Club from 5:30 to 6. And if you would rather eat while you socialize, then you're also planning to do kind of an optional pre-dinner at Luigi's at 5 o'clock. Luigi's does need a head count a little over a week in advance. So I do request that if you are planning to join us at Luigi's, please let me know by December 8th. You can either indicate that if you're doing the online sign-up form, it was part of your email last night, to indicate your intentions that way. Amy also had a sign-up sheet. If you prefer to do the pen and paper method out front. So one way or the other, please let us know if you can attend. I hope we have a terrific turnout. I hope that you feel free to invite your family members or perhaps a friend that you think might want to get introduced to Rotary. That would be fun. And they even arranged that we can hang out on the ice for a little bit afterwards for a group photo. And Amy is waving to me in the back. So Amy will take your money, cash, card. You can do it through PayPal on the website. Just be sure to indicate if you're using the website, how many tickets are you paying. Any questions about the Firebird? All right, so unless you have something else on your calendar already, I hope you'll plan on joining. Other important information. So we have, as some of you may have heard, the district governor for our district is from our very own club. And so Mr. Mike Chase, district governor, with the assistance of George Ananick and some others, is going to be putting together a district conference, and we're hosting it in Flint. So as the home club of the district governor, I also hope that we'll have some wonderful showing of folks participate in that. The plans are starting to come together for that, but they did ask me to share with you that June the 23rd, which is a Friday, that evening through Sunday the 25th, there will be a variety of different activities. So some social events, some sort of conference type events. You'll get more details on that as we get closer to the date, but you might want to mark your calendars now for that. In addition, there's going to be a big conference. There's lots of planning and different opportunities for people to volunteer. And so if you would be willing to help with some of that planning and coordinating, please let George know. He can, I'm sure, use more hands to make life work. And then other kind of important item I wanted to share. So we have a board slate that is being presented to the club for consideration. Today is the first reading. And so you can see Anne Marie is she's already designated to be the next president. I will be designated to be the past president by then. And you can see the slate of other officers and directors that are recommended. So it's everybody who's serving now with the recommendations of adding Ed Fletcher and Dominique Fleming. Are there any additional nominations from the floor? Any nominations from the floor? If not, we'll do a second reading before we put it for a vote. And now I have the honor of making a Paul Harris presentation. I love the fact that we've been having so many of these. It's a lot of, it's fabulous. So the Paul Harris Fellowship, as you know, was named for Paul Harris, the founder of Rotary, who he started his club with just 3 business associates in Chicago in 1905. The fellowship was established in his honor in 1957 in order to express appreciation for a contribution of $1,000 to the humanitarian and educational program of the Rotary Foundation. That could be all at once or over a period of years. Those programs include an array of projects that save and invigorate the lives of people throughout the world and enhance international friendship and understanding. Foundation programs provide everything from shelter and educational opportunities to food, potable water, healthcare, immunizations, and shelter. Of course, our club has made some collective contributions to many of those initiatives, but we also want to recognize individual Rotarians who have made that exceptional contribution. We move closer to a more peaceful world today as 2 of our own Rotarians become Paul Harris Fellows. In fact, one of them is a +1 and one of them is a +4. So I would like with that to invite up Reg Lancaster and Connie Peters. So Connie and Reg, your contributions to the Rotary Foundation of Rotary International delaying suffering and improving lives throughout the globe. And it's a truly selfless action. We present to you these pins today as a small indication and reminder of the good that you're doing in the world and the esteem in which we hold both of you in our hearts. So, Reg.
Thank you both very much.
Where's the money?
It came from your account. Thank you so much.
All right, so I also want to, maybe I'll do the health and welfare before we proceed with the joke. So I do have one health and welfare announcement I'm aware of, and I think somebody else said they wanted to say something also. So I just wanted to note that one of our former Rotarian members had passed away last month, that I just was informed of it a little bit ago. Some of you might have known Hyman Marur, who is a member starting in 1978 through 2016. I did not know him personally. I think we only overlapped for a couple of months, but he, as I understand, was the only member from our club ever to get the service above self distinction from Rotary International. He was very involved in helping to coordinate a number of projects internationally that benefited the communities in India. So I wanted to acknowledge his passed on November 11th of this year. Services have already taken place, but his family had requested that in lieu of flowers, donations be made to Rotary International. And my understanding is that at this point, more than $800 has been contributed in his memory towards that work. I want to acknowledge that. And then Jerry, I think you said you also had a health and welfare update.
Thank you, President. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know about the special presentation today, but I was perusing the club roster and I noted, probably through divine intervention, that on December 3rd, 1982, Reggie Lancaster joined the Rotary Club of Flint. So tomorrow, Saturday, December 3rd, it wasn't mentioned in the presentation, that he'll be a member for 40 years. Thought we should recognize.
All right, and here's a health and welfare update. Well, then I do not want to be the one to stand between you and the joke duel. So our two participants, I understand you have a certain way you want to do this. So come on up, the floor is yours.
Well, good afternoon. So Elizabeth asked if we could be, of course, I said yes. We should fit in, we should fit in just fine here until she handed me one of James Smith's newest books. The Rotary Club of Flint Joe Duel Book of Rules. So you know, no, we're not doing that. So what we're doing here is we decided that I would write Mike's jokes. Mike would write my jokes. We have to read those separately. And we have to read. Looking around the room, I just, this is chilling. Don't take it personally. And we'll just see how it goes. No. No. Nice joke. All right. This is another book.
Here.
All right. One night, a man walked into a bar with a pig. The bartender, being the observant sort, noticed right off the pig had a wooden leg. He goes over to the man and asks about it. The man says, "For a beer, I'll tell you about it. It's a very special pig." The bartender figures it's got to be a good story, so he gives the man a beer. The man begins, "Let me tell you about this pig. He is one special pig. One night about a year ago, my house caught fire. The pig broke in out of his pen, came in the house, dragged my two littlest children out of the house, woke me and my wife, and then guided us out of the house. The pig saved my life and my family. Sounds pretty good so far. The bartender impressed, but still wondering about the leg. Well, that's great. So why does the pig have a wooden leg? The man says, for another beer, I'll tell you about this very special pig. This must be the bad part. The bartender cooked and gives the man another beer. The man says, I'll be out of my house. There's a small lake. I was out sailing on it when the boat capsized. I cracked my head on the boom and couldn't swim. The pig broke out of his pen, swam out and dragged me ashore. He then went into the house and got my wife. She gave me mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. The pig saved my life. The bartender, fascinated, but still getting a little impatient, says, that's really terrific, but why the wooden leg? The man says, for another beer. The bartender gives him another beer. The man says, let me tell you about this pig. He is one special pig. Last week during the tornado, I was on my way to the basement when I stepped on a rake and knocked myself out. The pig broke out of his pen, dragged me into the basement. He saved my life. The bartender, figuring this would be the last story, says, wow, that was one special pig. He saved me from a fire, tornado, and from drowning, but why do we have a wooden leg? The man says, well, sir, with this pig, this special, you don't use it all at once. Okay.
My joke was gonna be George's term as president of the club. I think everybody knew that already, so. What is the Beach Boys song Kokomo about? All the places Donald Trump hides his money. I should be getting dollars just for the simple of reading this. What is the name of Donald Trump's new airline? Air Force One. Where is Donald Trump's favorite place to shop? The Walmart. What is Donald Trump's nut? Favorite, well, that's it. That's just one is Donald Trump's. Favorite. It looks pretty good. A long nut. How do you know when you're reading a book by Donald Trump? It starts at chapter 11. Donald Trump is so fat when he steps on the scale it reads, one at a time, please. All right, well. I'll let you draw that. I'm sorry about this.
So usually the way this works, well, I forgot to put on a second set of red cups. So what we'll do is money on the table is for George, money in the cup is for Mike. Okay, so money on the table means you want to put it towards, I don't know whether it's your joke or your delivery. We'll say the delivery that George is on the table. That Mike did in the cup. And if you prefer, if you're online or if you don't carry cash and you want to participate, you can use the PayPal button on the website, flintrotary.org. You click on PayPal, and then you choose the amount you want to contribute. Just be sure that when it says what is this for, you either put Mike or George, so that we know who to credit that for. All right. So yes, if you like the jokes that George told and delivered, put it on the table. If you like the jokes that Mike told and delivered, put them in the cup. All right. All right. So the rest of the meeting now. Wow. Right. So before we proceed the meat of the conversation today, wanted to just acknowledge we have a balloon today. This is fabulous. And I see several guests. So we have guests in the room, or we're carrying, if you wouldn't mind standing and introducing them so we can welcome you here. All right, welcome. Well, for those of you who didn't read your email from last week, remember that it's retiring, and then Bob was kind of passed on the information about the retirement celebration, so you'll see a follow up on that. Wayne happy yesterday.
Everybody, I brought you my king to be white.
Did you get all of our guests? Phenomenal, to have all of you back soon. And if Fred is still here, I see him in the back there, I think it's time for a big city, so please pull out those raffle tickets.
You know, I love it. I just from the retiree roll back here. Move on it. God. You can't. And I don't, it even selected, Dwayne. Hey, you got drafted by the draft board 246. But is there anything in this bucket?
Oh, what have we here?
We have a brand new cowbell.
Does it play?
I think, let's find out.
No. That's a start. If you hit it like
All right.
a girl. The handle, cell, body. No Firebirds, and Elizabeth was great to say, if we played like we did last Saturday night, the Firebirds bought us a mini sub from Jersey Mike's. Let's see, pizza from Little Caesars, and the pleasure of watching Ken score 10 goals to none. So, well worth it. Now,
Fabulous.
Dwayne, I've even selected an honest man.
Well, he's a Rotarian, of course, he's an honest man.
Gee, well, I would, but obviously there are some of those who disagree. Now, what I'd like you to do, Dwayne, carefully. I told you. There's something. You know, God, I have to teach you to be a criminal? Well, my work is proud for me. Yeah. Would you carefully stir the pot, please? This is an honest pot. We're graduates of the Donald Trump School of Business Integrity. Okay, would you select a ticket?
All right.
President
So the third place ticket, 83897. 83897. Who's got it?
Going once. Going twice.
David Smith has it.
David Smith.
All right. 83897. Okay.
Now, Dwayne, would you like to try for door number 2?
All right, for second prize, 83892. All right.
And they say newbies don't get anything here, and that's not true. Now, to the big prize,
All right, for all the marbles.
4 gallons of gasoline.
You know, I bought gas station for $2.96.
Where? Where?
60 highway water.
Okay.
All right, and what do you want? 84040. All right.
I'll take that to Bob Cook. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Dwayne. That's a little.
Thank you for the meal cowbell.
Yeah.
All right. So there's so many excited to come today because this is a day where your participation really matters. And so I very appreciate that you came here today. We are going to spend the next half hour or so on kind of a workshop around how to increase membership engagement. And so with that, I'm going to provide a little bit of an overview of kind of at a club level, what have been some trends. Then Joe's going to have the chance to share the results of the membership survey that many of you participated in a couple weeks back. And then we're going to use that information to work at your small tables. If you're a guest, please still participate with this because actually part of the insight that we really need is what might be of interest or important as we try to reach, certainly within our current circle, but also expanding beyond it. So if you're a guest here today, that's actually a terrific thing. So we're hoping that by the end of that we're going to have used the creative juices and insight in this room in order to give us some specific ideas about what are some things we could play with over the next 5 to 6 months in order to try out like different ways of meeting or connecting that help to increase engagement from existing members and also appeal to potential new members. And so that might be things like if there's a 5th Friday, maybe that week we play with something different. Maybe it's a different location or a different time or a special program, or maybe it's just a special program we would look to do, as part of a regular Friday. But the point is that you get the chance to pose what you think might be of importance and value for the group, and that we spend a couple times over the next 5 or 6 months playing with that and trying it out. So here is a very high level, just number of Rotarians. So looking at July 1st of each year for the past 5 years. So starting in July 2018, we had more than 100 members, right? We had 114 members, and we actually increased it that following year. And we pretty much sustained it during that first year of COVID, but we've seen that our numbers have fallen off since then. And that's not necessarily surprising. It's pretty consistent. I think Mike would say this in terms of what a lot of Rotary clubs throughout the area and around the world have experienced, as well as other service organizations as well. So it's not unique to us, but it is a trend to be mindful of. And then I wonder, I happen to know that we have several past presidents in the room, and Rob, you were the president 20 years ago, right?
Right.
Okay, so 20 years ago, roughly how many Rotarians would you say were members at that time? 260.
20 years ago.
Okay, and Jerry, you were a past president, so do you have a rough estimate of how many? Okay. Yeah. And Jean, do you recall from the year you were president roughly how many you had?
Probably it was around 270.
Yeah. So we've had a high of like being almost at 300. And that's like the expectation of hoping not that we get back to 260 or 270. Like that's not the ballpark we're playing in. And that's fine. But we do have the opportunity to think about how might we want to adjust or be so that we are relevant and around and vibrant in 10 years and 15 years and 5 years. Here's a snapshot of gender trends. The red bar is the number of men, the blue bar is the number of women. We didn't have anybody that responded that they identified as another gender. And you can see that although the total numbers of our clubs have shifted over that time, we've actually been really consistent that women have been 30% of our clubs. So given the origins of Rotary, you know, originally we did not include women. So it's not surprising that we have fewer women, but that might be one demographic to continue to bear in mind as we think about how do we want to grow to include more of our community. Here's an age trend, and I know that the graph is a little bit small there, but the dark bar there, that represents age 70 and older. And that's consistently been our largest demographic. At this point in time, not counting people who were inducted today, we had only one person under age 30 and only 3 people under age 40. So age is a big thing for us. It's a big thing for us. The only age bracket that has increased in number over the last 5 years is the 60s age bracket. All of them have decreased. But you know, we also look at kind of engagement through both service and contributions as one way of looking at the level of engagement for a club. So some years, notably in 2020, 21 with the pandemic, like we didn't do service projects because we were just all at home. We weren't meeting in person or serving in person. Since that time, we started to rebound. And I'll point out that for the current year, we're not even halfway through the Rotary year, but yet we're already nearly at the number of volunteer hours that we reported all of last year. So when we talk about trying to increase engagement through service opportunities, that can be really reflected in how we value our contributions and how we kind of live our worth as a service organization. So that's something that you can continue to think about as well. How might we use service as an opportunity to build engagement? And certainly I know that Joe and Amy proved that they had presented a couple of weeks ago, asking for some ideas around service, and that's still an opportunity to propose ideas that we think would be worthwhile. And the last snapshot that I want to share here in terms of trends is trends in annual giving towards the Rotary annual fund. And again, the current year is only partway through, and so it may look like, wow, we really don't have that much. But if you look at where we were at this time in prior years, Amy Vanderput assures me that we're actually a little bit ahead of where we would typically be. But you know, realizing that making those contributions towards things like Rotary International, as well as for our local funds here, that definitely matters, and it's another form of engagement. So I'm going to pause there, and I'm actually going to shift to Joe. He's going to walk us through the survey results.
Hi, can you guys hear me okay? A little loud, little soft, talk louder, talk softer. I'm going to just continue here. I can't hear any feedback. So thank you for those that took the survey. Just wanted to briefly walk through those results here over the next few minutes. We had 27 responses in total. A majority of those who responded to the survey, and this again was a survey about the meeting typology in the format of meetings moving forward. As a reminder to those that took the survey, or a note for those who didn't take the survey, this was specifically asking members their feedback about the type of meetings moving forward and the frequency. Again, so we had 27 responses in total. The majority of those that responded to the survey were heavy attendance Rotarians. So 21 out of the 27 attend at least 3 times a month. Go to the next slide. And then we specifically got into some questions about the Friday format. We asked, we want to know if Friday is still the best day to meet, and then asked by ranking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, how often would you attend? And clearly this Rotarian, the Flint group, is not a Monday or Tuesday type of a club. You can see that I bolded in red there that if meetings were held on Monday, most people would be unlikely to attend. Tuesday, still heavy, no attendance. On the flip side, Thursdays and Fridays still seem like it would be the best fit. It's good to see that, Friday is still holding strong, but that there was also, if meetings were held on Friday, that 21 of the 27 said they would attend often, and Thursdays, though, 16 would attend often, and then attend sometimes. Thursdays, if you look at Thursday, attend sometimes and attend often, you would have 22 of the 27 there. So it looks like there's some flexibility probably between Thursday and Fridays. Not so much on Mondays. So here's a question about how important is a meal, and I put on there a cup of coffee and a chocolate chip cookie specifically because that's what's important to me. And so I enjoy a cup of coffee and chocolate chip cookie, and so if my response is there is a meal's not that important, but coffee is. But overall, the club's response was that a meal is either very important or somewhat important. So 19 of the respondents indicated that a meal not as important was 5. So it still feels like having food as part of the meeting atmosphere is a draw to the club. Now we get into some more specifics about the meeting options, and so you can see the first question is you're either dislike, you're neutral, or like about the meeting types. And so 4 regular meetings a month was our strongest respondents in favor. So 19 liked the format that we have currently, 7 were neutral. And so I highlighted that in green for a strong preference. So next you have 2 regular meetings a month and 2 weeks with no meetings. Only 7 likes, but there were 12 neutrals. 2 regular meetings a month and 2 later afternoon, early evening social gatherings a month. It seemed like that was people were a little bit neutral on that one. So maybe some receptance, but not a lot overwhelming like. And then the final one, which was 2 regular meetings a month, and then 1 later afternoon, early evening social gathering. And then, as Elizabeth mentioned, adding a service activity or a committee meeting there. And so that was the one where there was 10 neutrals and 9 likes. So, summarizing the activities, it generally seems that for those that participated in the survey, they were heavy users or heavy attendance members. They liked Thursdays and Fridays. They like 4 regular meetings a month, but are open to alternative ideas such as 2 meetings a month, a social gathering, and a service activity. Again, these are not scientific results. Of the 90 plus members, we had 27 results. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. And at this point, Nick is distributing a worksheet to your tables. We're going to have 1 per table, and you're going to have about 15 minutes within your small group in order to discuss and try to achieve some consensus around what is the best suggestion you can come up with of some sort of format program just to try out. Not that we're going to do this in perpetuity, but it's like if we figure we might have a chance to try 3 or 4 different things over the next few months as opportunities arise, what would be something you would want us to test out to see? Is this a draw? Is it fun? Is it feasible? That sort of thing. With an eye really towards increasing member engagement and being appealing to other potential Rotarians. So you've got that paper as a guide. If you need a pen, I brought some pens. And Nick and I will be available to kind of float around the room and assist if you've got any questions. Folks on Zoom, I think Joe's going to work with you in a breakout room, and then we'll reconvene, like I said, in about 15 minutes.
Elizabeth, can you make me host again?
Yep. All right, I made you co-host. Hopefully that gives you the ability to bring them.
All right, I love that there's so much engagement at the table that you can having exciting conversations and lots of ideas flowing. Our time is brief, and so what I would like to do is to give each table a chance to give us the snapshot, the essence of the idea that you came up with. If you've got it written down on your paper, so much the better. We'd love to collect those from you so that we can keep track of those ideas. If you haven't written it down, I'm kindly volunteering Nick, who is going to try to also keep some notes on that as well. All right, which table would like to get us rolling here? Yes, please, Ashley. And if you don't mind coming up to the podium, actually, just so that folks on Zoom can also hear.
Keep it brief, but we kind of went in a couple different directions. So lawyers get paid by the word, right? No, we have a couple ideas. Shorter lunch meetings. We talked about how for the average working person, if they don't own their own business or have a flexible schedule, an hour and a half meeting can be really hard. So we talked about that, and we thought that may attract some people in that younger demographic that we don't have a lot of membership in. We didn't come up with any event ideas, but I wrote down 1 to 2 signature annual events that we really target inviting people to as guests. And then the third thing that we just kind of mentioned at the very end that I was still writing down is outreach to businesses to encourage the company's sponsor members, because that financial obligation can be pretty hard for younger people as well. So we could use some of our partnerships with like the chamber and other resources that we have in the community to hopefully maybe do some more promotion. So we got.
Thank you for getting it started and some fine Jackson. All right, Connie waving her paper there. She's ready to come up. Thank you. Gotta get out of the way.
I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody for my longer. Oh. Our group was all over the place, and I think we came up with some really great things. We're talking about speakers and meetings, things like that. We need to keep those interesting speakers coming, and that's a great time to invite guests, depending on what the topic is. Off-site meetings would be really great regularly, like maybe the Sloan. We got this jewel in our community. It's wonderful to go see that. A lot of us haven't yet.
Thank you ever so much for the revenue.
Oh, yeah, you too. Yeah, you too. And Factory One, FIA, places like that. There's a lot of jewels in our community that we could help promote in the community if we do more about it. One of the other things is we need to be a little bit more outward facing. We are not an exclusive club. We're open to all. At one point, somebody thought it was a gentleman's club. Well, obviously that's not the case anymore. I know there's a lot of gentlemen here, but now ladies are involved. Keep our meetings, the time concise, like what you had mentioned, about an hour would be really great because they're late on a Friday. A lot of times they get that little time slot to get things done. Keep using the virtual. I think that will help bring in like the younger population because they can go on, they can go to the meeting and be done and go on their way. And that was one of the topics that Mike Chaffee came up with some of these. The cost. It's a little pricey for most people to be a member of this club. And I know we're trying to come up with ways to deal with that. And another thing we really need to promote is that it's a great opportunity to network because you're sitting with a lot of CEOs in this room. And like my husband said, if I was a younger kid, I'd be bringing my resume here and passing it out to everybody. We need to change up our social media to include Instagram and TikTok, which was Dave Perry's suggestion. And did I miss anything? I think that's all we covered. Thank you.
Anybody in the room want to go, or I see folks on Zoom? Would you like to?
Sure, I can summarize. We spent a lot of time talking about the length of the meeting and the material in the meeting. Is that if they're right, that we're trying to do everything in the meeting, so build camaraderie, friendship, eating a meal, having a presentation, right? So we're doing an absolute maximum amount of things because we all enjoy, everybody has a little bit of a favorite within a meeting, but we're sacrificing potentially the quality. So we're rushing guests through because we don't leave enough time at the end, or the socialization isn't as robust because we're we like the joke duel, but it's not as, it's only got a couple minutes. And so if you could break out those activities a bit more. And so if it's a regular meeting is an hour, and it's less about the socialization, and then the outside meeting can be about the socialization opportunities. So we talked about those type of opportunities, breaking the meetings into more of the engagement with the speakers, business format, and the socialization would come at a socialization meeting. I'm trying to think, maybe like a third Thursday concept off site. So instead of having a regular meeting, something that's easy to remember. So third Thursdays is somewhere, right? And that could be a socialization. It could be it could be a service type opportunity. And I don't know, John or Ellen, if there's anything I missed. Last Zoom quality, improving Zoom quality, making sure that speakers make sure that those on Zoom can hear. So today, I think it was one of the rougher Zoom audio days recently. So if we're going to reach out to a broader audience on Zoom, making sure that's engaging for the Zoom members.
I think we also said, you mentioned Thursdays, but I think it was something like first Mondays. That is, maybe the Friday format works, but for some people, they just can't make Fridays. So one way to see if that's true, have the first Mondays, okay, and have the meeting on a Monday, all the others on Friday, because what we might be doing is eliminating the Friday people from attending if they have other meetings or other commitments on Fridays.
All right, thank you, Zoom crew. Thank you. All right, I want to be respectful of people's time. We have 5 minutes budgeted left. And I want to be sure to hear from as many tables as would like to share some. So, all right, Todd, Jean, and then Elizabeth, and then I think the back table over here. All right, all right. So how about this? If it's something that's been said already, you can just be like, we co-sign such and such. And if it's something new, then feel free to highlight that.
Sounds good. So, we'll be quick so everybody can get up here. But at our table, we talk a lot about the fact that many of us have joined Rotary originally for networking and kind of tying off to what the Zoom crew were doing. And we also talk a little bit about the fact that Rotary had primarily been a home for CEOs or leaders of institutions, but we have now kind of allowed and broadened the membership. But networking was one of the reasons a lot of us joined in the first place. So why not do one of the sessions, devote one of the Fridays or whenever the sessions happen to actually purposeful networking in the meeting, and use that as the guest recruitment day. So basically invite all your guests in on that day because they know they're going to have the opportunity to meet lots of different people. Do something like a speed dating concept or a speed networking concept where they, you go round robin or switch tables or whatever. And that way, the guests know, hey, this is the person sponsoring the guests know, hey, this is the opportunity that this person can meet lots of different people, and this is the session that we're going to do it in. So that was our primary one. The other thing we noted that a lot of us join for networking, but then we stay for service, and we think that guests will, join and then stay and grow our service organization. So, there we go.
And so, Jean, if you want to come up, and then Elizabeth, you'll be next, and then Katie, you back. And then we'll...
Many of the ideas our table came up with have already been mentioned, but I think the thing that we would like to see is we need to become more of an active club rather than a passive club. And that means getting out, being visible, making ourselves known and participate in the community in the way that Rotary becomes known in the community, not just kind of a hidden secret.
Well, I would like the kind of format as it is generally. We thought it'd be a good idea to have some extracurricular activities, and they came out very similar to what Connie said. And that is to take advantage of local charities, and especially at the cultural center, perhaps to visit them with a dinner. And we also like the idea of going to sports events. We haven't been to soccer at the Atwood, which some of us thought would be a good idea. And things where we can bring family and guests.
Hello, everybody. I'm a guest, so I was voluntold to be the one to share today. Take the podium. Well done. So a lot of great ideas we heard, some really good ideas. One of the things our table talked about is the demographics, to bring some younger folks to the table and how that's an important thing to do. And some of the groups that were mentioned were like young contemporaries. And the Genesee County Flint Chamber under 40 years of age group. So some of those groups can possibly invite them, to lunchtime. And also, we talked about, Annetta had some great ideas about designing a walk around our walk Friday, the pub crawl, things like that on the 5th Friday evening, make it more of a mixer and have drinks because the young people want to be able to drink. So that would be a good idea. It's probably true. And also,
That is true. I told her people have no room. If you like to join us,
and Vicki had a great idea about get to know your nonprofit and have a nonprofit come and talk about what they do and how that can help your employees and your businesses and things like that. So thank you.
All right, Jane, come on up, and then we'll get to Nick.
Hey, so as far as our group, we try to focus on bringing more young people in. And one thing that we thought about was grassroots stuff, which is us actually going into schools and reaching them at that age instead of when they become adults and they're filled with all this stuff. Working with them as babies, we actually have a better shot because they're familiar with who we are. That's first. Second one was bringing the barrier of entry and bringing it down and making it more accessible. I do understand there is a financial quality that goes into what we do. But also in the same hand, for young entrepreneurs like myself, it just so happens that I'm in tech. And I don't have the normal story that entrepreneurs do in the beginning. And so in the beginning, you are struggling and the financial part may be a problem. Well, we thought about giving it a work aspect as well as a financial aspect. So therefore, we're not totally basing if they can get in on their finances. And the work that they would be able to put in, it would allow us to be more visible in the community. So when we have those drives, they would volunteer so many hours, and that would help along with their funds to be able to get into the group. So that was another one. Working with AAAC down at the Chambers, which is the Young CEOs group. That was a huge thing, and that is where I am. So nonetheless, that was what our group had. Oh, no media branding. Yes, we're good. Thank you.
I'm gonna hurry up so you retired people can get to the bar. Go back to work after the one thing that we really were hammered down on, nobody else mentioned, was make attendance relevant again, because what that has done is encouraged you to go see other clubs, do outside activities with Rotary. And when my well-seasoned table over there was mentioning that, I was thinking that's a pretty good idea, because that's kind of following up, making attendance relevant. Also, make sure you go to Curzon Street meeting on January 13th. That was all too. Thank you.
Thank you so so much. Please be sure to leave your papers at the table so that we can collect them. We're going to be reviewing these further and trying to we want to put it into fashion. Some of these things we've already talked about and want to move forward on already. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. My thank yous extend to thanking Anne Marie Van Dyne, who wasn't able to be here today. That many of you knew that Gloria Van Dyne passed away, so her services are actually happening now, and so she couldn't be here, but she and Joe worked together to try to put together the survey and design this process. So thank you to them. Also to Nick for pinch hitting and filling in to help assist with the actual mechanics of it here today. Thank you to David for his inspirational message, Nick pulling double duty with bulletin notes, Dave Perry for your setup and takedown, and to Fred, as always, for the very exceptionally reputable raffle. I promised Jack I would make just a special note again that next week your offsite is at the North Bank Center. Buffet opens at 11:30, so if you want to have extra time to eat and talk, then you can arrive a bit earlier. There is free parking available in that adjoining structure. And we do ask that you please RSVP. There's no added cost for you to attend, but they need to know who's coming. So if you missed out on the RSVP link earlier, it was part of last week's email. So you can take a look at that message, and I believe that we also have details on our website. So feel free to consult that as needed. And this is our last time in this space this calendar year. So go forth. If I don't see you in the next couple weeks, have a wonderful holiday season, however you're celebrating it. And with that, we are adjourned.
All right. Thank you, everybody on Zoom. I'm sorry there were audio problems today, but very much appreciate everything that you've done to participate.